Okay, let's go. Good morning, I'm Milene Aguiar from Thornton International, and I'll be your host for today. Just a few reminders before we start. Everyone except the presenter will be muted during the presentation. In the end, we will have time for questions. You can use the Q&A box at the bottom of the Zoom page. Please use the option send to everyone, not send only to the presenter. I'd like to welcome Alan Bouquet, who will present the webinar. Alan, feel free to introduce yourself and start whenever you want.
Hi, Milene, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here in the IWA Water Loss Group webinar. My name is Alan Bukai. I'm a business development manager in a company called Astera. I hope at this point many of you already heard about us. The idea today is let's talk about the product of Astera. We did in the past with the Water Loss Group 2 other webinars where we explain in details how the technology and how the product works. So feel free, please, to reach out to me if you have questions about that, or to reach out to and watch the previous webinars. But my idea here today is more to talk about how the product can be used to bring actual value to the water companies around the world, how it should be, how we think it should be deployed, and so you can take the most out of it, and in the end bring efficiency to the networks that you have. So let's start by talking about the problems that we have, right? This is not anything new for any one of us here in this room. Water loss is an issue that is up on the table of any water utility, any managing director, any even more any operations or maintenance director of water utilities. And a few reasons for that being so. First of all, well, 30% of the water that is produced being lost on the way to the houses is, of course, a waste of money, and also an environmental issue. And there you see the climate change as a key point. Water is a valuable resource. It's becoming scarce year after year. Many places already have droughts that are considered part of their lives every year during the dry season. Of course, infrastructure aging is a major point of concern anywhere in the world. The cost of maintaining the infrastructure up to date and replacing pipes and parts to the speed that they were supposed to be replaced means an investment that is often bigger than the water utilities can do, considering their finance situation. Although prices are rising for consumers because of, as an answer to all those challenges, and for example, for the cost of electricity that went up in the recent years, that usually is not enough to cover the raising costs that the companies have due to all the other issues and matters that are here in the screen. And of course, not to lose track of the human resource, which is the key factor that makes all the machine work in the end is the people. All companies are made by people. And we know there's an issue in attractivity to the industry that groups like the water loss are trying to solve by integrating activities in the different countries and one region with the other, and trying to bring fresh minds and fresh arms to the industry, which is very important to recycle to build the future of the industry. So those are all issues that all of you already know very well. I don't need to go into more details into each one of them. Each one of them is enough for a webinar on its own. What we're here to show is how to solve those issues, or at least help solving some of them, or in total or in part. Um, and when we talk about water scarcity, especially and production and supply of water to the cities, there are different ways to find different to find supply options to the cities. And depending on the size of the problem, depending on the geographic characteristics of each of the locations, there are different solutions. But you can see in this chart that different solutions have also different costs. And depending on the situation of the water utility, sometimes not even considering the access to salinated water, to seawater, but a solution like building a desalination plant is not only a huge investment to any country, but it also means that the outcome, the water that will be produced through a desalination plant will be much more expensive than the water produced, for example, from groundwater. So here we can see that when we are trying to solve the issue of increasing production or reducing waste or resolving the water scarcity issue, leak detection is still the cheapest way to go. It's not an easy way, to increase production based on leak detection or water loss reduction, but it's still the not only the most environmental friendly because you avoid waste, but it's also the cheapest, financially the cheapest way to increase water that is being delivered to the houses. So as if we showed before that 30% of the water is wasted, if we could recover from those 30% at least 10, that would be a huge amount of water that could be turned back to the consumers, and the cost much lower than any of the other options that are available. Now, if we're going to talk about leak detection, and Astera is all about leak detection, there are different ways to look into it. And the way each water utility is looking at it in a different way, and it means that depending on how we make the questions, the answers will be different. So, for example, we just talked about water supply as a problem. So if the issue is increasing supply of the city, leak detection is maybe the cheapest solution, but it's not the only one. A desalination plant could be another solution. And if you move through these squares, through water loss and leak detection and pre-localization and pinpointing as the main issue of each of the water utilities, the solutions that exist to solve each one of those issues are many. The traditional boots on the ground is not the only one. Astera is not the only one. There are plenty of different solutions around that can be used on each characteristics of network, each characteristics of soil, of infrastructure, that all of them have its benefits and all of them have its limitations. What is really important is that each network manager needs to know all the technologies that are available, what these benefits and these limitations are, and especially each network manager needs to know exactly what the big issue, as we like to say, the pain, where the pain of the customer is, to make the right question so he can find the right answer. So I'm not going to go into all the different kinds of technologies and ways to do it, but when we talk about understanding well the possibilities, it's important that each network manager understands what are the key drivers for choosing each one of those technologies. Here are just a few examples of how we here in Astera, based on a document published a few months ago, we see ourselves and other technologies against us, but every company would have its own way to measure depending on the problems they have. Typically, the left side, performance, flexibility, and return on investment are kind of common, but the KPIs, if we can call it, on the right side might vary a little bit depending on what the problem of what the strategy and the problem of each company is. So what I recommend is that all of you, you can ask for the presentation later. It can be sent to you. But you can easily find this book written by Stuart Hamilton and Bumbles. It's published by IWA. It's a very good publication that goes through different kinds of leak detection technologies that exist. They talk a little bit about pros and benefits and limitations of each one of them. I don't need to go into the details of each one and start comparing Astera to others, but you can have access to this kind of documentation very easily in the internet and check it for yourselves. Now, the way we at Astera see leak detection is we can maybe translate in this graph, and it shows how the issue should be addressed in most of the cases. It's not new for any one of us who deal with water utilities that a water network is like a living system. Although it's buried under the ground, and most of the population, they don't even realize the size and the complexity of the structure that brings water to their taps. You just open the tap and see water coming out, and they take it for granted. We all know that it's a huge work and a huge effort from many, many people to make it happen. And whatever is the structure that is underground, it's changing all the time. It looks like not, but it is, and for all different reasons. And every network has its rate of formation of new leaks. And it's just, this curve is just there's no numbers behind it. It's just to illustrate that as time goes by, new leaks are formed in any distribution network, even in the newer pipes or in the older pipes, it doesn't matter. There are always new leaks coming out every day. And if we just stand still, means that the efficiency of the whole network will be reducing day after day. So there's no such a thing anymore as standing still and just waiting because I have new pipes in this neighborhood. Being reactive is not enough, because day after day, the efficiency will be reducing and more water will be lost if we don't start moving. Just to maintain needs action. And what I show here in this dashed line is if any water utility nowadays need to have their leak detection program or water loss program, speed is and size of this program is an issue. Because if you just add a team of leak detection technicians that will be walking all the city with a specific rate of investigation, that might not be enough. Depending on the number of new leaks being formed in your network, your leak detection program needs to be sized to match that number. And by the way, it's very hard. No one knows actually how this curve is in real life. But it's something that needs to be calibrated over time by measuring the efficiency and understanding if the efforts you did last year were enough to improve efficiency. If not, you need to improve efforts. If yes, you can rethink if you still need that pace, or if you can reduce just to maintain. Is a matter of strategy of the company. But the thing is that calibration of the size of this leak detection program is important if you want to increase efficiency and reduce water loss, as we have been talking until now. There needs to be a speed of finding and fixing leaks that is higher than the speed of new leaks appearing. If you don't fix more than new leaks come, your efficiency will be worse every day. If you are able to fix more leaks than they appear, then your efficiency will go up, and then you're wasting less water. This, as I say, is a medium to long-term view. Is not something that you can measure in 1 or 2 days if it improved or not. But this is the ultimate goal of any leak detection or water loss program. Now, when we talk about speed, the work of the leak detection teams, the traditional boots on the ground teams, is crucial. Although there are many technologies to find leaks, this is still the main method used, the traditional method. Of course, it has been improving over time. The tools these people use on the ground has improved, the microphones, the correlators, and so on. But they still walk pretty much blindly through big areas. Some companies have, for example, zoning or DMAs, and they can reduce those areas of search, but still, for most of the water utilities, even the ones that have zoning, the zones are not small enough, and the leak detection teams, they need to walk many kilometers every year without knowing where to search in order to find leaks. So here, just to show an example of a number, that an area or a zone or a city that has around 500 kilometers of pipes, if a typical leak detection crew can walk between 3 to 5 kilometers per day, it means that they use 12 minutes to investigate every 100 meters of pipes, and it takes them half year to investigate 500 kilometers of pipes. So that means that only after 6 months, that team will be going back to the same location to try to find a leak that might be lost for some reason. They might have just missed it for any reason, because the equipment was not working or because there was too much noise or whatever the reason is. Only 6 months after they will come back, and you can imagine how much water and money is being wasted by 6 months of a leak that was missed and will be found only 6 months later. So imagine that I can give you some guidance on where to go, and if I say that instead of checking 500 kilometers of pipes, you need to check 10%, 50% of it, it gives the leak detection team more time to investigate every meter of pipe. And even like that, because it's such a big reduction and they're focused on going where the probability of the leaks are being higher, so they can investigate with more details and they can find more, and it makes the leak detection team much more effective. Which means, coming back to that curve that I showed before, that if a leak detection team can find 3, 4, 5 times more leaks than they were used to find before, so with the same leak detection team, your curve to compensate the new leaks is now much better, and the efficiency of the network can then be improved. Again, if one team is enough, if you need 2 teams or 3 teams, if a half team is enough, it's something that needs to be calibrated over time. But the fact that you can multiply the efficiency of the teams that you have by 2, 3, 4 times, it makes a real improvement in the efficiency. Of course, as I said, it only be seen in the long term. You cannot see it by doing 1 week of leak detection, finding an X amount of leaks. You'll not see reduction in water loss in 1 week of effort. It's something that you need to see over time. And so talking a little bit about Stera, so just for those who don't remember, we use satellite images to locate those locations that I just show you where the probability of finding leaks is higher. The satellites that we use are installed with a specific sensor that can see water underground and can differentiate the types of water. We can differentiate groundwater, sewage, rainwater, to the drinking water that in this case is leaking from the pipes. And we get this image, we do our analysis, and we deliver locations to be investigated. More than locations to be investigated, we deliver data that can be very useful to the water utilities to plan their investments, to plan their leak detection and water loss efforts. More than just finding leaks, it's an overview of the whole network that can be used for bigger purposes as well. This slide is not just to show numbers about Astera, it's just to show that it's a technology that has been used in all different kinds of countries, in all continents, which means that it has been tested and proved in any network structures, any pipe materials, any ages, any types of soil, any weather conditions, any parts of the world. So it's a technology that is already very well proved. And the way we're trying to use it now is not just a technology that you use to find specific leaks, but to use it, as I said, as a platform to manage your whole leak detection and water loss reduction efforts. So For example, if we do a scan with Astera, one image, and we find locations for leaks, but we start doing a second, a third, or a fourth round of images, we see different things in each image we take. One image of the satellite does not see everything that is underground. We need multiple images to see more. And by having repetition, for example, in this picture here, you see some of the circles from different scans overlapping one to the other. So it means that if a leak appeared in 2, 3, 4 images, the likelihood of something happening there is higher, and it helps to prioritize also the work and direct even more the teams that are going to the field and know exactly where to go to search and be more productive and find more leaks every day or every kilometer they walk. So Astera is not a solution that came. Some people, when they hear about satellite leak detection, they think that Astera is a solution that will pinpoint the leaks and from the satellite to give you the exact location. It's not the case. What we do is we reduce the area of search. We are not, the technology was not made, was not thought and developed to deliver all the leaks that exist in the system. But the idea is that we allow you to find more leaks in a shorter period of time, which means making best use of your infrastructure, of your water loss reduction efforts. And of course, because you find more leaks and earlier, you save a lot more money in water, you save a lot of money in technology, in electricity, and there is also an impact in the environment because of that. Aster was not a technology designed to find specific leaks. As I said before, each image of the satellite is not able to see all the leaks that exist, but it's a technology to increase the detection, the productivity of the leak detection. In the end, if the leak I find is in the east side of the city or on the north side of the city, it's less relevant if I'm finding the leak and fixing. That means that I'm saving the water. So the actual location of the leak in the city is less important. Is the amount of leaks and the speed that I find and fix those leaks that is good. So it's not 100%, and there's no technology that is 100% accurate. Astera is also not 100% accurate, but the accuracy of the technology is good enough to allow this increase in productivity, this increase the speed of finding and fixing leaks. Coming back to that curve I showed in the beginning, to compensate the new leaks that are appearing. Astera is, of course, not a single solution. Those of you that know us know that we provide the areas for search, but it needs to be combined with other technologies. The most common technology combined with Astera is the traditional boots on the ground, acoustic leak detection, but other technologies can also be used. So any technology that you as a water utility wants to use, wants to try, and you consider it very expensive because the cost per kilometer is high, Astera can help making that technology cheaper by reducing the area to the most likely areas that need to be searched. And then you can reduce also the cost of those expensive technologies by knowing where to go and reducing the overall cost. As I said before, Astera is not for an ad hoc project. I always like to use the example of a factory producing items manually that has a productivity of that item. When you bring a robot to increase productivity, if you use that robot for 1 week only, it's not worth the cost of installing, maintaining, training people, and all the cost of installing a robot. You use it for a week, you increase the productivity of the factory for a week, and then the rest of the year you don't. Here is the same. Having your teams finding more leaks for 1, 2 weeks, 1 month of the year, it helps a little bit, but in the end of the year, you don't see the benefit of that. It's just by using the technology for a continuous monitoring or a continuous solution and bringing results to your teams over time that you're going to actually see the real value and the result in reduction of water loss. As I said, it's something that needs to be calibrated over time. And this is also one of the benefits of Astera. because it's a solution that is 100% OpEx. It's a operational expense. It's not an investment. You don't need to buy any equipment to install to use Astera. It's you just contract the service from us, and that means that you can calibrate the amount that you use every year. So if in 1 year you need to give a boost in your leak detection efforts, you can do more times. If in a specific year your NRW is controlled and you don't need to go that deep into finding leaks, you can calibrate less. You don't need to make this like other technologies that you need to decide the size and make an upfront investment in equipment, and you have to live with that decision over 3, 4, 5 years. Here's not the case. You can adjust this over time. So the idea here is to show that it's very easy to explain Astera as a technology that reduces the area of search and increases leak detection productivity. But there are many things around water loss reduction project or program that is not only about how to find a specific leak. It's also about planning strategically how that is important and how that will be used by the company, how much investment will be put behind it, and what are the goals that we have to reach. So if we know a specific water utility wants to reduce the NRW in 5%, we can estimate, of course, we never know for sure, but we can estimate how big the leak detection effort needs to be. And with Astera, we can Astera can help you to calibrate the size of the structure that you need to invest to make that effort happen. How this is managed, we have a tool called EO Discover. It's our platform in the web where the results of the field works can be seen. It's not only to measure how many leaks found, sorry, it's not only to measure how many leaks are found, but it's also to manage the performance of the teams that are in the field, to compare benchmarks on how productivity is going, to compare impact of that also in the sustainability goals of the company. You have a overview here of the dashboard on the right side. And we are working now on a new version that hopefully will be launched by mid-June, July this year, that is much more detailed on the level of information that it provides. It's much more customizable, so every water utility can adjust volumes, costs, dates, teams, so you can better manage the program through our platform and to see the results and report the results internally, and use this as a real management tool that is not only the leak detection tool, not only the leak detection production, but also a water loss management tool. So just to summarize some of the benefits of thinking long-term and thinking this way about the technologies. First of all, Astera is a technology that allows you to see the whole city at once, to have it continuously monitored, which is very hard through other systems that monitor the whole network. Very expensive. It depends on a lot of equipment being installed everywhere. We do provide visibility of what's happening underground. So before leaks are surfacing, before they can be detected by many other methods, we can see them through the satellite. By the way, the same technology, as many of you already know, can be used not only for water, for clean water leaks, but we can also use it for wastewater leaks. So many countries in the world, this is becoming also a big issue. There's a regulatory pressure around the pollution coming from wastewater, and this is something that also we can help. Of course, as we talked a lot, operational efficiency is one of the key words for us. It's it's probably the main proposition that we have is to increase the efficiency of the teams. It's no invasive. There's no equipment required. Any types of pipe, any types of weather, any types of networks we can apply the technology. As I showed, we consolidate everything in a platform where you can use to manage the whole program. And if you have your own platform, your own systems that you already use, it's very easy to integrate. All the information is GIS based, so it's very easy to upload to whatever system you use. But the idea is, as I said, not only for on-off leak detection campaigns, but the idea is that the data that Astera brings can be used on the long term after the data start to be accumulated, can be used for decision making more than only leak detection. It's about understanding the real situation of the network. It's about planning the resources, planning how much money and people you need to put behind leak detection efforts in advance, estimating where you want to go, which goals you want to reach, and doing the planning backwards to reach the decisions of uh, how you're going to structure yourself. And of course, as we talk about leaks, finding leaks means saving water, saving electricity, and of course, it needs to return the investment in the technology. If I'm adding technology to the program and to the system, I need to see return of that, and that's seen very clearly. Our dashboard shows it and helps you to calculate the benefits, to understand what the financial results are, and I believe me, they are positive and they pay off. The cost of water is going up every year in all the countries, and it only helps. Technology being added just helps to make that money return as quick as possible. That's what I had to say. I don't know if we have many questions or questions. Mileni maybe can help me with that.
Hi, Alan. Yeah, actually, we have two questions here from André Arsenio. Can you please indicate which assumptions were made to come up with the figure of $0.41 per leak detected?
Okay, I don't have all the details of the assumptions. This is a work that was done by Paul Gagliardo. He's a water specialist based in the United States, more than 25 years, 35 years of experience working in water utilities. I can send also to Milan. She can make it available for you, the whole study that Paul did with all the references there. Um, the 41 cents is actually a big average or a reference, okay? Of course, from country to country it changes. There are countries that it's much cheaper than this, there are countries that is more expensive than that. It's just a reference for us to understand that, well, overall, the scale of leak detection against the other ways to supply water, it is true that it's cheaper, might not be 41 cents everywhere. But we can make available the contact to Paul, and he can come up with all the details of how the calculation was done.
Okay, Alan, he's saying yes, please. That would be great if you could share the reference. Please, if you want, just email me or Alan, and he can send you, or I can send it to you, okay? Juan Rivera is asking, can you share this recording or presentation? Yes, Juan, this will be available at IWA Water Specialist Group. Where? Sorry,
YouTube
guys.
channel?
YouTube channel. Thank you. It will be available. Another question from André Arsenio. Could you please give some rough estimations on how much Astera improves leak detection performance? For example, number of leaks detected per kilometer per mile inspected when compared to non-prioritized random whole network blanket detection. Something like Astera number versus detection performance of a typical utility. Do you have some numbers like that?
Okay, so if we make an overall average around the world, it's around 3 times. Okay, so if a leak detection, traditional boots on the ground team is used to find one leak every kilometer they walk, with Astera they should find three. Again, that's a global average, which means that it varies a lot from country to country. There are places where it has been two. There are places where it has been 5, 6, 7, 10 times. It depends on the situation of each network, but I can assure it increases and the average global is 3.
Okay. Reese, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Dunham. How dependent is the performance on weather, climate, or soil moisture?
So the technology is not dependent on the weather or the climate. It can be we did projects in all kinds of weathers on the rainy season, on the snowy winter in some places. So the weather not at all affects the results. Soil moisture also does not affect unless there's a flood that the whole ground is filled with water, is underwater, then it could affect. But normal groundwater and normal rainy seasons, it should not be an issue just because Asteros technology can differentiate the types of water. So even if the soil is with a lot of groundwater or rainwater on it, we can differentiate that from the clean water coming out of the pipes, and it doesn't affect the results in the end.
Okay, I was answering here. Just a question from my part here. Okay, so if it's flooded, it's not accurate. Is that what you're saying? So it won't work like in beach areas or something like that?
It works in any areas that have also groundwater high, but if let's say after a huge rain that the whole floor is empty, is flooded like at the point that the streets are covered with water for a few meters, then it's not going to work because the pipe will be 100% underwater. Okay, but if it's normal periods where you can also have rain, but normal rain, it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay. Andrea Arseni is asking, how will you get the reference? Will it be posted? No, it won't be posted, Andrea. You can ask for the reference using the email that is here in your screen right now, alanbukai@astera.io. And he can send you if you want, okay? Stephen Batek, we are currently running an Astera project, and one of the major benefits is to fast-track diagnostic programs and direct our leak detection teams where they need to be faster. Our efficiency with blanket leak detection versus finding leaks with Astera is relatively the same since we cover over 150 meters radius around the point of interest. Do you want to say something about that?
So I'm not sure if I understand exactly, but what he says is the efficiency is the same within that 150 radius, right? If I understand correctly, but because of the fact that you don't need to go everywhere, and that's what he's saying, that he can direct the leak detection teams where they need to go to be faster, means that although inside those 150-meter radius that it's actually 100 meters that we send, but inside that radius the efficiency is the same, but because you don't need to go everywhere, you go to much less areas, then the overall efficiency is higher. If I understand correct from what he said, please correct me if I understand wrong, Stephen.
Stephen Batek is saying similar leaks per kilometer.
Yes, it's similar. You should find similar leaks per kilometer. You should find similar leaks per kilometer because there are similar leaks per kilometer in the network. But because you have to walk less kilometers, then you find more leaks every day you work or something like that. Or let's say if you compare, if you scan an area of 1,000 kilometers and I tell you you just need to walk 100, then you're walking 100 over 1,000 and not 1,000 over 1,000. Then that's why I say that you find more leaks per kilometer. It's not that you find more leaks per kilometer that you walk, but it's more leaks per kilometer in the overall analysis. Okay.
I'm not sure if I understood your question, Sakinatu. You're saying, in this case, what kind of network characteristics do we need as input to obtain accurate results?
Okay, I think I know that, Melanie. All we need to know from you to get the best results is the GIS, if possible. We actually can also run the technology without the GIS, because what we see is water mixing with ground. We don't actually see the pipes. But the more information we have about the network, the more accurate not only the results, but the way we plan the field work is. So if you know that an area have more for example, more metal pipes than plastic pipes, finding leaks in metal pipes is easier. So going there first means that you find more leaks in less time, right? It doesn't mean that the leaks are not there in the plastic, but the idea of Astera is finding more leaks quicker. So when you go to places where it's easier to find, then you find more. And if you have Astera to reduce the error search, and you combine that with all other informations that you already have from your network, we can better prioritize where to go first and increase even more the efficiency of the work that is being done. So it's a combination of the data that Astera brings from the satellite, that is something that water utilities still don't have in-house, with all the information that the water utility can provide from in-house. When we combine all that, it brings us to a more intelligent and guided decision to how to prioritize the work.
Do we need the leaks history?
Again, we don't need the leaks history to run the system, but if you have your leak history and you know that a specific region has more leak history than others, means that it's at least, I don't know if it's that's the area of more leaks, because many of the leaks are hidden anyway, but it means that in that area it's easier to find the leak. So if you go there first, you should find more. If you go there with Astera, you know in that big zone where exactly to look, so you find more. So it's a combination of information that helps improve the end work. But for the Astera analysis alone, we don't need anything from the water utility. We don't need any information. Having at least the GIS is good, is what we ask, but we don't need anything more than that.
Okay, no more questions. If anyone wanna ask something and not just write down, feel free to open the mic right now. Okay, I think that is it. Alan, I'd like to thank you for this amazing webinar. And everyone that needs more information, feel free to email me or Alan, or just call Alan directly, or if you want, I can make this bridge between you, okay? Yeah,
thank you very much, Melanie, for the space, for the opportunity. Thank you all the participants for being here and spending some of your time with me. As Melanie said, I'm available. My email is in the screen. You can please write to me anytime to expand and detail more on the conversation. I hope to see you all soon enough. I know there's the water loss conference coming soon in San Sebastian. For those who will be there, I invite you to come to the Astera booth. We'll be there with a nice space with some of our people, some of our partners from around the world. So feel free to come and visit us and talk a little bit more as well.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.